Hey guys, and welcome from their ancient slumber. The dragons rise again. It is going to be a glorious game between Mr. Tefel and Hard Roost Warrior as the High Elves march to the Bleak Dale to engage the Beastmen who have been encroached there for quite some time. And like an annoying tick, they must be forced out. Should be a good fun game as the High Elf player has gone very high risk, high reward, and I am all for it. We have not one but two mighty moon dragons up in the sky. Moon dragons, quite expensive beasts, so bringing two of them like this means you have to get value from them because your ground forces are simply going to get overwhelmed. Speaking of those ground forces, we do on the right hand side have a couple of Illyrian Reaver archers. Massive fan of this pick. They counter Centaur Throne Axes rather nicely due to their speed. They kind of remind me of the Numidian cavalry. If Numidian cavalry had bow and arrows rather than javelins, where they can dart and bob and weave in and out of the enemy and just generally be better than their opponents with their horse mastery, giving them dominance of the battlefield. For the main battle line, it is going to be a spearman mixed in with one or two cheeky white lion units, and it looks like some silver and guard in the secondary ranks to boot for a little bit more added eliteness. In the very back, we have another unit of spearmen and double archers, one of which is the Talons of Tor Khalida, the regiment of renown who can set their opponents on fire, which of course can combo nicely with the Moon Dragon's breath attack. We have Teclis down here on his mighty steed, his pony of war. Going to be coming in with some pretty useful spells, no doubt. We have the Net of Amantok, of course, a crowd favourite and a player for some very long time, probably ever since it was in the game. Being able to pin your enemy in place is such a useful battlefield component. We have Enfeebling Foe, we have Regrowth, and of course we have the Bound Fiery Convocation, and all his usual spells and bound abilities. For the forces of the Beastie Boys, we do have some Centaurs with Thrown Axes, which is to be expected, escorting some Chaos Warhounds of Poison, as well as a unit of Tuskor Chariots. Main battle line is a load of Ungor herds, strudelled all the way along the main battle line formation, with more Tuskor Chariots, more Thrown Axes, and more Warhounds on the far side, mirroring this nearby flank. Couple units of Bestigors in the back are going to be the real added punch to this build in general. We then have a Brave Shaman of Wild, kind of the standard Traitorkin and Brave Scream, and we have Torx the Brass Bull bomb rushing forward. Now, he may be a beast of pure fire and range, but he can be dragged down by big fat breath attacks from those dragons if he's not careful. An old school High Elf classic is net the opponent in place with Teclis, double breath attack the general to their doom. However, Torx Brass Bull is relatively tanky, so he should at least be able to absorb some of that damage and hopefully, imbue his axes with even more firepower to carve the enemy into ruin. Warhounds again, nice and aggressive here. Going to be chasing back the Illyrian Reaver archers who are fleeing to try to save their own skins for now. Moon dragons slumberously swoop forward towards the enemy battle line. Look at their glorious grace in their bulky nature. Floating over towards the enemy to probably do the play here. It looks like Teclis is rolling forwards, and it is going to be an old school slaughterfest. We even get the Talons come in, give that fire weakness to Torx the Brass Bull. Brass Body goes down though. Double breath attack. Going to be searing metal and flesh. You can smell that glorious crispy Torx beef burger in the morning there. Brass Body probably kept him alive here. It was 40% damage resistance. He's down to nearly half HP. He probably would have broken off the battlefield if it wasn't for that well-placed ability by the Beastman play. He's probably panicking quite a bit now and is bomb rushing forward as quickly as possible. Needs to get in the back line and shut down these archers and reavers who are pouring on the damage right now. Poor Centaurs are Thrown Axes. They don't have shields. They've got nothing to hold up to protect their faces, and they are really being picked apart now, trying to hold their hands up. They're unfortunately being pierced by a well-placed Elvish bowfire. Bestigors are charging with their general as Torx leads the way, just going for a roly-poly attack. And now we have the chariots as well, starting to reave through the back line, which is a really good play by the Beastmen play. He needs to shut down this range contingent because the front line, it's not really a problem for him in the mid to late game. Warhounds have started to move around the flank there to get active once more and keep that momentum going strong. It looks like Torx once again gets hit by another spell, this time Enfeebling Foe. The dragons are hunting him down quite nastily here. It looks like we are going to get that Bound Fiery Convocation. Beastman player force paths his units forward though. Looks like he was able to escape the worst of the danger, but over on this flank, my god, both White Lions and Ungors took massive damage there from that Teclis big boom of doom. Seems like we're going to get yet another pen go down on Torx the Brass Bull. Likewise, the Brave Shaman is looking really beat up, and the Moon Dragon wants to stand and probably take down Torx here. However, Torx the Brass Bull is no joke. He will happily slap a dragon. Look at him the dragon is nearly, like, it's a bit bigger than Torx, but not that much. And Torx has axes, the dragon does not, and it is certainly starting to be cleaved asunder here, not having the best of days, although Torx likewise is getting really, really beat up at the moment. As for the front line, Beastmen are starting to win. Bestigors are busting through, now hopping onto the back spearmen and these juicy rear units. The front axes are helping support, just launching shot after shot into the rear of the enemy. Probably want to engage in combat and just break them as quickly as possible. Does look like a Moondragon has returned to the battlefield. Likewise, we're going to get a regrowth go down on this one. And the Beastmen left-hand flank has absolutely crumbled. We have a few spells coming in, though, luckily from the Brave Shaman, which is good to see, as they were nearly assassinated very early on. Techless, with the Potion of Choroi going down, is going to be healing up quite nicely. But look at this, Torx the Brass Bull doesn't really care that he's been attacked by this dragon for quite some time. He's beaten the living snot out of it, despite that regrowth going down, which is overcast, by the way. The dragon is actually starting to flee for its life. Its older brother, though, swooping in to try to beat up the bully Torox and save the day. Centaurs starting to flood into combat. Bestigors are really cleaving their way through the Elvish formation, but these combination of Centaur Phyrexes are starting to whittle down some of the big, scary Moondragons. However, it does look like Torox was dragged down. We can see his hollowed husk of a body, which was once mighty and full of rage and life, being now trodden on by victorious Elvish forces. Likewise, the Brave Shaman has broken, and if you can really take out the Beastmen leadership, they don't have the greatest morale in the world. They're no dwarfs. No dwarfs, you kill their lord, they want vengeance, they'll fight even harder. You kill a Beastman lord, they get lost, confused, and they just want to go home. Moondragon does come back. Looks like it has received quite a lot of healing from that regrowth. Lovely breath attack did manage to cinder and singe quite a few of the Bestigors there. The dragon's still been hunted down by the Centaurs without their leaders on the battlefield, though I do worry quite a lot here for this Beastmen force. We still have the Bestigors going strong. There's a lot of archers, though, who can continuously shut them down, plus those scary breath attacks. And a lot of the Beastmen forces are just routing and absolutely legging it to the tree line, trying to find any shelter they can from the burning vengeance, which is the Moondragons. I wish they were Star Dragons, but hey, we can't have everything we want in life. And the Moondragons are coated in the blood of both friend and foe. Minion Elf had to falter here, but I can't see the Beastmen getting back into this. So many units broken, running to save their own skin, and it looks like the Beastmen player is going to throw in the towel there. We're about to get a nasty fiery convocation on his last real portion of strength here, which was those Bestigors in the middle. You can see the net was going down on them. Very well played to Hard Rust Warrior and Mr. Tefel. You're actually probably going to see Mr. Tefel as well in the next Warhammer 2 game. Got quite an awesome game up against him with myself, bringing the Mighty Lord Croak and Nakai combo. If you'd like to see that, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll try and get it out to you guys as quickly as possible. Awesome game for both these guys. It was a really good fun one, and I hope you guys enjoyed as well. I'll delve into the damage value and stuff in a memento, but if you guys enjoyed, really appreciate it if they do drop a big old fat juicy thumbs up. Subscribe as well for more content into the future. Both those things let me know you want to see more Warhammer 2 action going forward. Likewise, comment down below what you thought of the game and what you'd like to see going forward. Load of links in the description: Twitch, Patreon, Discord, all that standard YouTubey stuff. The Mighty Tech List. How did the Prince... I would say is he sassier than Tyrion? I would say he is. The sassy Prince of Ultron, coming in with 581 damage value, 53 kills. Not terrible. Fiery Convocation was, hit and miss, but the actual spells kind of to net the enemy in place, the enfeebling foes used really well. Real top-notch stuff there by Mr. Tefel, who's a tournament player and played in quite a few tournaments that I've hosted before as well. Spearman did a decent job, but nothing too crazy. Just held the enemy at bay. Silver and Guard were really impressive. 1.2k damage value on them, probably dragged down a few Centaurs or Tuskor chariots. 740 and 1000 value on the Talons. I love that combo. The Talons, they give the flammable to an enemy they hit. You pin that enemy in place and you double Moondragon them. Only the brass body was strong enough to sustain such a vicious attack there. 875 and 720 on the Illyrian Reavers. 1.5k and 1.2k on the Moondragons, both with a little bit more left to give as well. Torx Brass Bull, very impressed. Even though he was so beat up and weak, he really grabbed that dragon by the throat and was just banging it back and forth Hulk style. Got a 1.4k value, very nice work. 1.1 on the Brave Shaman, mainly due to their magical prowess on the battlefield, and the infantry really suffered. Even the Bestigors are able to cleave through a decent amount of infantry, 72 and 46. HP still relatively strong at the end game. Losing your leader like that, getting them sniped out, is such a powerful tactic to do against Beastmen because they really do break. They don't have the sticking power of some of the other faction. 470 and 490 on the Tuskors. Throwing axes, 700 value, 300. Yeah, looks like mid-hundreds for the most of them. Warhounds I'd like to have seen whip a little bit quicker into that back line, but they did get there eventually nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.